Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Capita Super DOA. This board features Capita's Resort V1 profile, which is a micro rocker into a flat section, then camber through the middle. What this is going to do is give you the load, pop, snap, and drive of traditional camber right underfoot. You're going to feel that on edge, you're going to feel that when you load it up, but that flat into the rocker, it's going to give you a little bit of ease of entry in and out of turns, as well as more optimal sweet spot for nose and tail presses. Plus it helps engage with the snap. So when you load that camber up, it hits that flat section and it basically just creates like a hinge point where it wants to rebound so you get a little bit more pop. This board is available in 152, 154, 156, 158, 160, 155 wide, 158 wide, 161 wide, and 163 wide. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a day that was high visibility, some clouds, colder temps. You had leftover pow, ice, chop, chunder, perfect, super fast corduroy, and I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. The overall flex of this board comes in at just past middle of the road. It's not so stiff that you find yourself getting a super workout with it, but it's also not so middle of the road that you're like, oh, this is like a lot of other boards that I've ridden. What you do get is a little bit more play in the rocker, and halfway through that flat section, then it stiffens up through the middle. So that flat section into the rocker, that's where you're really going to be optimally trying to press this board. You're going to feel that just has a little bit more give. Those are the sweet spots. Obviously stiffer through the midsection, and that camber does accentuate it. The torsional flex is noticeable, but not overwhelming. It's not one of those boards that you're really going to be able to twist. Now, when it comes to stability, this board is smooth. And I mean in the sense that it does a great job of absorbing that micro vibration on a groomer, perfect corduroy, stuff like that. When you get into frozen, really rutted out, chunky terrain, yeah, you feel a little bit more underfoot. It does resonate back through the tips to that insert pack. Just about any board's going to have that. This, though, does a really good job of trying to deaden that kinetic micro energy, the stuff that really fatigues you. The bigger stuff, yeah, you're going to feel it. Just bend your knees. You'll be fine. What I really like about the pop on this board is that if you're laid back, you're still getting exceptional snaps. So that means you don't have to be on top of it at all times to engage that camber, roll back, hit that flat section, and engage that spring, and just feel it pop. But when you do, you get super boost with this board. That's what I really like about this board, is the more you put in, the more you're going to get out. It actually doubles the amount of energy that you actually put into it so that you get more pop. But when you're laid back, you're still going to snap. And when it comes to jumps, this thing wants to be in the air. Small, medium, large, extra large jumps. You don't have to worry about it. This is a board that really excels at just popping off the lip. But once again, if you're being laid back and you want to let the lip throw you, you're still going to get exceptional snap from it. With this board being the super version, there's a lot more rebound into it. Yeah, you have that sweet spot of the flat section into the rocker. That's really where you want to press the board, and that's where you're going to get it to engage. But you have to put more effort into it. You're basically manhandling it. And when it hits a point, it'll flex, but it's still going to want to spring out of any butter you do. The same thing happens when you're jibbing. High speed jibbing is key with this board, like almost slope style jibbing, where you're coming in fast, you're going to pop hard, you're going to land hard, you're going to press hard, you're going to pop right back out and continue on your way. If you're one of those more casual jibbers, someone that's a little slower, it's going to take a lot more effort. And when you do go sideways on a feature, while there is some give through that camber section to outpass the inserts, it feels borderline like you're on a balance board where it's just teeter-tottering and not really hugging right around the feature. Once again, speed will come into play with this. If you're going to do things at slow speeds, you're going to work twice as hard and going to be more likely to get bucked or thrown. But if you're coming into it with some real gusto, you're really just pushing into it, it's going to be a lot easier for you. When it comes to carving, the initiation off that front foot is quick. It's aggressive. It sets that edge in, and then it takes over from inside that front foot back through the camber. And you can really lock this into a carve and drive it. Now, when you're exiting the carve, you can G this board out. If you're really pushing off that back foot, it'll want to kick out and go back to a flat base position. Now, this is more to do with the board itself. I tried this over and over again to see if it was just something I was doing. basically there's limitations on this board. Yes, you can deeply, aggressively carve with this, but when you're really throwing your weight into the rear of this board to snap out of that carve because you just want to slingshot out, be aware that you need to know where that limitation is, because you're going to either kick out, end up on your gut or your butt, or it's going to go right back into a flat-based position. I like the side cut on this board. It's aggressive when it needs to be. You can be mellow when you want to be. What I don't like is the fact that if you're really hammering it and you hit that limitation and you're trying to go further, it will not let you. Now, with that said, short, tight, quick carves, edge to edge, totally smooth and quick. You never have to worry about it. It's got this power and precision with it that works. Those medium, mellow, drawn out carves, you just feel that edge set in and you're just cutting from one side of the trail back to the other. It's the super quick, deep, hard, aggressive carves where you're just trying to rail a turn, transition back over, that you have those limitations. And even then, you learn it relatively quick, you're still going to be able to lay a trench with this board. Who's this board for? The high-end park rider. So the last time I rode the DOA and then the Super DOA back to back, there wasn't enough of a difference where I was like, oh, this board has a wow factor. It really differentiates itself. This year it does. They changed the DOA. This thing just feels way more dialed. That side cut is amazing. It's got power and response where you want it. I really absolutely dug this board. Sure, when you turn it up to 11 and you're turning, you might kick out, but if you keep it at 10, which most people's version of 10 is like my 7, you'll be totally fine. It's great. This thing really, really is dialed. It's very responsive, like I've said. You get good snap, you get good power. The bass tune on this thing is amazing. Overall, really feel that Capita dialed this in and really did differentiate it from the regular DOA. Comparable boards, the Rome Mod Stale, the Solomon Assassin Pro, the Battalion Evil Twin Plus. Binding recommendations, the Union Ultra, the Rome Katana, the Ride A8. This has been my review of the Capita Super DOA. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further so that we can expand some of our projects, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.